We're talking all about back to school today, and it's about this time in the summer when kids and parents start to get anxious about that first day of school. So we brought in Clara Reynolds with the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay to help us deal with some of that back to school stress. Oh, you love that picture there?
I do. It kind of made me giggle. Yes.
It kind of just says it all, because this is the time of year where, kids and parents, but kids especially, they start to get anxious, for that first day of school. So
absolutely.
So why do you think that is, first of all?
Well, I think it's the fear of the unknown, right? Every kid is starting something new, even if it's the same school. You've got new teachers, you've got new routines. For parents, you're recognizing your kid is getting older.
Yeah.
And I think overlaying all of this is the social media pressure to have the perfect first day of school, the perfect lunchbox, the perfect backpack, and all of that just kind of adds up and starts to crescendo this time of year as the ads and all of that stuff really start to remind all of us that it is here.
That's so true. I mean, if you scroll through Pinterest or even Instagram, other people's lives look so perfect,
right?
And you can't let that weigh you down.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
We were talking beforehand, Janelle, about the fact that it's so important for parents just to be able to breathe and to take a breath. And it's much more important to be present and calm as opposed to stressed out because you're trying to make everything perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about some tips that we can use or we can help our kids with. So one of them that we talked about is validating their feelings.
Absolutely. Yeah. For many of us, it has been a long time since we have been back in school. And so the stressors that your child may be experiencing may seem ridiculous to you, right? Validate those feelings. Whether you have experienced them or not, validate them, because they're absolutely real for your child. And then continue to have conversation. You're going to recognize that your kid is struggling. You're going to recognize some changes in behavior, maybe some fidgeting, maybe some hand wringing, maybe more sleep or less sleep. Those are all signs that your child is maybe starting to experience some anxiety. So ask the question, how are you feeling? And give them space to answer.
Yeah, talk through their feelings.
Please, talk through their feelings.
Yeah.
Let them. And, if there's some of those are anxieties or things that you can lessen right away, go ahead and do so. So maybe it's an anxiety about, I don't know how I'm going to get to my classroom the first day of school.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about it, and we can schedule time either before that or at the Meet the Teacher. We can actually practice how you're going to get from the car to your classroom. Again, that reduces so much anxiety and will help your child be able to feel better about that first day.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And then establish a routine, which is helpful for everyone, right?
Absolutely. And just remember, the first few weeks are awful, but I promise you're going to get back into that routine and things will start to settle down. So give yourself some grace, and wherever you can find some simple hacks, take advantage of that. Whether it's, maybe you have groceries delivered, even if you never do that. Whatever that can be to, again, lessen your load a little bit as you get back into this routine.
Yeah, especially at the beginning. Okay, well, let's talk about parents, because this is a stressful time for parents, especially if they see their child stressed or they have anxiety, then the parent can get anxiety, right? So one of your tips is just to talk to friends, family about how you're feeling. Right?
Exactly, because oftentimes you feel like you're the only one. Maybe you're the only one that feels like a hot mess. No, I promise you, there's a whole village that's feeling kind of the same way.
We all feel like a hot mess.
Exactly, and that's absolutely okay. And then again, making sure that you are taking care of yourself. Maybe you need to change your bedtime routine. Maybe all of those things, so that you're getting good rest, you're getting some exercise, you're eating well. All of those things will help to reduce your stress as you move into this next phase of life for you and your kids.
Yeah, and I like that you want to remind yourself that this is a short period of time, this back to school chaos.
It really is. I promise you, it will get better. It will get better, but in the moment you just feel completely overwhelmed. And I would also say that if it's after 2 or 3 weeks and you're still in this really difficult space, that's the time to reach out for help. And you can always call us at the Crisis Center by dialing 211 or going to our website, crisiscenter.com.
Yes, 211, that's so important, available all the time. And if there's a child out there, a teenager, they can call it as well.
Absolutely. We get a lot of kids that call this time of year, testing time of year. They just need a little bit of reminders that they have it within them. They can get to the other side of whatever that crisis is.
Yeah. Overall, are there any other tips that you have for kind of getting through this anxiety that people might have for the beginning of school?
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about social media, but also making sure that you're monitoring your social media usage. And when you are starting to get more agitated than you are educated or entertained, it's time to put down those devices. And I know it's a very hot time of year right now, so maybe going outside outside or going to the beach is not really what you want to do, maybe
right.
you find a movie, engage in, watching something on Netflix, maybe picking up a book or coloring, any of those things that bring you some peace and some calm. Those are the things you really want to focus on this time of year.
Yeah, without scrolling through
Without
Instagram.
scrolling, yes.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
you calmed me down.
Thank
I'm
you
ready.
so much.
I'm ready for the start of school. And if you want to find out more, you can visit crisiscenter.com.